And here we are on December the 9th of 1996 on a nice cloudy day here in Las Vegas with another Reevemobile. This is number 15 since I began owning cars in 1968. This is the best car I've had by far, and this is a beaut. This is a 1991 Olds 98 top of the line touring sedan model in absolutely beautiful shape. This is the second white car I've owned, and I bought it on October 1st of 1996. Really just a fabulous car. This car has some unusual things about the windows. For one thing, the windows are smaller than they're making them on the current 90s cars. They're almost a throwback to the 60s as far as size. Number two, this car has one of these little vent windows toward the front, which does not open up. It's just for styling. But they dropped these on cars, I think, in the late 1960s, so this is kind of unusual. Plus the fact these windows are tinted a very heavy green, which is really great for the Las Vegas hot climate. Makes it very, very nice. This is the touring sedan model, and I actually did a lot of research about these cars. I learned about them. Look at the dirt there. Before I bought this thing. There's actually 3 different models of the 98. And this is the top of the line. This car was $29,100 when it was new, and cost me a small fortune to register. Someone actually ripped off my front license plate and the bracket, which belongs right here where these 2 holes are. So right now I have the license plate in the front window until I just take this thing to a dealer and get the bracket replaced. But this is in beautiful shape, as you can see. And let's see, there's only one ding on the whole car, and that's right here in the trunk. You probably can't even see too well. It's right there. It's actually a ding there and a ding up here, but that's it. The rest of this car is just immaculate. Let's go inside now and show it off. This is the first car I've had with a remote control entry. Unlock, this locks the car, and this opens the trunk. If you push this once, the unlock button, it opens the driver's side door only. If you push it again, it opens all 4 doors, which is kind of nice. This is the second car I've had that has a light gray interior. The first being my Pontiac 6000 STE that I bought back in '89. This car is so clean, it looks absolutely new. It really does. There's a typical window controls, mirror controls, and all that. First car I've had with a power window lock. And when this is activated, of course, you can't open the windows except from the driver's seat, which is kind of nice. The car does not have a digital dash. This is an analog dashboard. You can barely see in there. There we go. But it has all the necessary gauges, which I also like. So that kind of took priority over a digital dash. This is really, really clean. Beautiful leather seats. Not a mark or a scratch on these suckers either. Here's the rear. Again, absolutely clean. Just beautiful. This has the usual pockets in the back seat, and this is the first car I've ever had that has a rear vent control for the heater and the air conditioner right there for the rear passenger's comfort, located right above the rear ashtray. And there's your light. Again, very, very, very clean. This car does not look like it's almost 6 years old. Okay, we're now sitting in the front seat, and it got, of course, a lot quieter. Let me show you some controls on the dash. There's your Twilight Sentinel, which is the typical Cadillac feature. Your interior lights, high and low. Here's your standard GM light control. Headlights and all that. Here are gauges, volts, temperature, speedometer. There's a tachometer, fuel, and oil. The bottom we have, you can barely see, trip odometer and a reset for that. That's where the display is. Here's the information center, which is one of the main reasons I bought this car, which we'll show you in a little while. Over here we have a test button, which monitors certain systems of the car, and your English and metric settings. Over here are your typical climate controls, heat, air conditioning, direction, and all that. Next to that are your radio controls and your cassette deck and cassette controls. Oddly enough, this car does not have a loudness control, which really irks me because there's no bass whatsoever. There's your equalizer, which is about all you have in the way of tone controls. It's just not enough. Below that is a whole bank of buttons, which is available, I found out, only on the Touring package and the upper scale Regency Elite models. These are what shows your display in the information center. These 10 buttons here. There's your rear defroster. Next to it, where there's a blank space, that is a button for front de-icer, which is not available on the models meant for the south and the west, only on the models meant for the northern part of the country. Here's your fuel economy. Fuel is your gas gauge. It's actually like a digital gas tank. Range shows you how many miles left on that tank of gas. Speed is the average speed of the car. Oil is actually your for your oil changes. It's a percentage ratio, 100 down to 0. Shows when you have to get an oil change. The gauges are just a digital readout of 4 gauges: oil, battery, temperature, and your tach. Destination, ETA, and ET are for trips. You can program the number of miles in between trips, how many hours it takes to get there, and stuff like that. Number 0, DT and TM is the date and the time. Next is to enter different things, and an off position, and then a reset position. So that's the Touring package. The steering wheel actually has the remote controls on it too. For the first time, I have the control on the steering wheel for the fan, which actually turns on the heating or air conditioning depending on your setting, and the temperature control. Here's an airbag. First car I've ever had with an airbag, which of course is nice. And here's controls for your radio and your cassette deck. Volume up and down, and seek up and down for the radio, obviously. Let's see if I can get this. Now, this is always tricky. Is a remote control for your gas tank. You can't put gas in the car unless you release the door from this remote control. And next to it is one of 2 remote trunk releases. Which is kind of nice. And what else do we have? Over here we have a cup holder. You push this, it flips up. You can put soda cans in there or whatever. Below that is the ashtray, which looks like it's never been used. Over here, the shift lever with your different positions. I wonder if I could get this, but